Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to those listening to and watching this episode of the Talking Sports Podcast. The NBA Finals, we're 2 games in, and let's just get right into it, man. Boston Celtics are up 2-0 on the Dallas Mavericks, heading into Dallas. Let's break these games down. I know, Jeremiah, you have a lot you want to say about these 2 games, so I'm excited. Let's talk about it.
First, let me start out by saying I was wrong. Um, the Boston Celtics are what I've been saying, what we've been saying, the best team in the league. But I thought their match would be the Dallas Mavericks. I was wrong. Um,
It's not over yet. It's not
it's not.
over
It's
yet.
not. It's not
We're
over
going
yet.
into Dallas.
But from these first two games, I think we've seen the formula the Celtics need to just keep doing what they're doing, and they'll win. But you're right. It's not over yet. And you know, Celtics are up 2-0. There's only been 5 teams ever to come back and win the finals after being down 2-0.
Yep.
So it's going to be tough.
Actually, the last time it happened, they came back, and that was the Milwaukee Bucks. That was the last time it happened, and
Yep.
they did come back and win, and actually reverse swept them after losing the first 2 games. But I'll let you go ahead. My bad for cutting you off.
Yeah, no, that was a great Bucks team that was able to do that. I don't know if this Mavs team can do the same thing. But let me just give the Celtics their props before we start breaking it down. They've been incredible. Porzingis, like I mentioned, going into game one was great. Um, they've played team basketball, and this is something you've said uh, leading up to the finals. They have the best role players, the best bench. Um, Anybody on their team can, be the leading scorer that night, be the best player that night, and they've done that. So the Celtics have played great. They started out finally exactly how you should, but job's not finished yet.
Yep. We got game 3 tomorrow as we're recording this. Let's break down game 1 a little bit. And this was really the Porzingis show. He came off the bench, and we knew that he would be playing. We knew that he was kind of back from his injury, but he did come off the bench, and he came out guns blazing. He came out hot. He really fed off of the moment. He really fed off of the crowd. After missing 38, 38 days, I think they said, of playoff basketball, he wanted to be out there. He wanted to be with his team, but he just couldn't. And so, he really showed his presence. He made his presence felt when he came in, and he just offensively and defensively, he he really made his mark. And you said it. He was one of your X factors that could come in and swing the series. And you were right. So shout out to you. That was an excellent take. Um, but yeah, he really did so much, especially in the first half. He had 20 points. 18 of it was in the first half. They didn't really need him a whole lot in the second half. So I do feel like Dallas adjusted a little bit, especially in relation to him. But they didn't really need him in the second half to do a whole lot with the first half that he had.
Yeah, yeah, he had a great game, and he was able to rest a little bit in the second half. The thing that's interesting to me is that this game one, I was watching it and I was just like, dude, I was like, Mavs don't have a chance to win this game. And two main reasons why. In game one and two, there's been a free throw issue. Mavs have not been, they've all been doing terrible with their free throws. But secondly, the Celtics have had 5 players or 6 players in double digits. That's
Yep.
a recipe for success. Whoever you're
Yep.
playing. So
And they're only really playing an 8-man rotation.
exactly.
So when you can have six players in double figures, it's
Yeah.
almost unbelievable.
That's all you need. So um and no, this is something else I've said all year. The Celtics still don't have 20 losses yet. I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question before we finish breaking this down. Do we have to start considering this Celtics teams as one of the greatest ever? I know we got the 73-9, 72-10. I know we got those teams out there. Excluding them, could this Celtics team be up there?
I think you have to consider them as one of the best just because their run during the regular season and then their run during the playoffs. Like and the team has all the components of, you know, a all-time team.
Yeah.
I, the only pushback I would say towards it is that they don't have like one star. You know, you got the LeBron teams, you know, the super all world players. And I mean, I guess you could say Tatum is that or has been that like regular season. But he hasn't really been that in the playoffs.
Yep.
But you know, they have scoring, they have a good coach, they have defense, they have, you know, a bench, they have all the components, 3-point shooting, they can drive. Um, they just don't really lack anything, and that's what you can really say of an all-time team. But yeah, I think they are. I definitely think they are. When you can have a run, not have 20 losses in a season. I mean, you got to give it to them.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think if, if they can win these finals in 4 or 5 games, I think we have to consider that this is one of the best teams we've seen in the NBA in NBA history. I know the teams they faced have gone through injuries, but this
Yeah,
team is incredible. And back to this game one. We mentioned the free throw issue. We mentioned the scoring from the Celtics. I think
mhm.
the last issue for me that I have is that going into this final series, I had huge expectations for Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
Um, for me,
Everybody did.
right, everybody. It was Luca and Tatum or Brown, and then Kyrie right there.
Yep,
Um,
exactly.
and I even had Kyrie ahead of Luca and ahead of Tatum and Brown. So
Yeah,
I was expecting big things, and he struggled. Maybe due to the Celtics defense, due to um, maybe just the pace of the game. But he's been 0 for 8, both games from three.
yep,
He's struggled to. I mean, he can't really get 20 points. um,
yeah,
he's creating a little bit, I guess, when Luca goes out, but it seems like the chemistry they had all through the Western Conference playoffs when playing together is not there anymore. And again, I guess shout out to the Celtics defense, but the lack of Kyrie Irving has been a huge blow to the Mavericks.
yeah, and especially in game two when the game was a little bit closer. Dallas did have five players in double figures. You know, Luka's best game, with the triple double, 30, 11, and 11.
Yep.
They Boston only won by 7. So, that was really a game where you should have won. But yeah, Kyrie has not. He's been a no-show, and hopefully he'll step up in Dallas. With the crowd behind him, and back with his family, things like that. Some players need that. So
Yeah.
uh, so hopefully he'll be back and he'll have a better performance. But I just want to talk about the defense of the Boston Celtics because their scheme to slow down this, to slow down Dallas. They're not really slowing down Luca a whole lot, but that's the game plan. That's the scheme. You slow down everybody else. You prevent everybody else from scoring. You prevent the corner threes. You prevent the lobs, and you play one-on-one basketball, no help, and Luca beat us. And he's been trying, but ultimately the scheme is better than the team at this point. And we got to give a shout out to Joe Mazzulla. He's a mastermind, and a lot of his post game interviews are going viral.
Yeah,
Especially the one where he just reeled off like 10 different plays, like, and it was I don't know if the I don't know if the video sped if they sped up the video or he was actually talking that fast, but he was
yeah,
just going. But yeah, his brain is crazy. He's a mastermind, and he's really putting his team in a great position, game in and game out. And when you had the time that they had to prepare, you would think that Dallas would be able to conjure up something similar to that as game plan wise, but I don't know. I think Jason Kidd is getting out coached. But in our last video, we did say that Joe Mazzulla had the edge in the coaching, and we're seeing that play out.
yep,
Because offensively and defensively, Boston is just they're taking advantage of everything that Dallas does with the offense. The 5 out pick and roll. You know, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown driving and kicking. The 3-point shooting. They're again Joe Mazzulla. They're winning the numbers game, and we've seen him say this so much. Win the numbers with the 3-point shot, and if we shoot more, then we'll definitely make more than you. So it's just been a master class, coaching wise. So it's going to take a lot of adjustment.
yeah. We mentioned beforehand, like you said, that we gave the edge to Missoula between him and Kidd, and yeah, we've seen that. Um, the game plan's been better. The defensive scheme has been better. Um, looking at the Dallas Mavericks, we saw leading up to the NBA Finals, we saw a complete team. I think we saw a team
Mhm.
that played defense. We saw a team that rebounded. We saw a team that could, score in their sets, push the break, whatever they wanted to do. Um, and that just hasn't been the case. And I'm not sure if it's trying to adjust to what the Celtics are throwing at them or what. But just for example, I'm going to read this. Game 2, their bench. Maxi Kleber was 0 for 4 from the field. Derek Lively was 1 for 3. Josh Green was 1 for 4. Okay. And they played 19 minutes, 16 minutes, and 14 minutes. And they scored, and Dante Exum scored 3 points. So
Yeah,
that's combined 9 points from the bench. That's horrible.
yeah, yeah.
And
You got to have more.
yeah, you have to have more. I mean, if each of them makes one more shot, they win. And that's again, like I mentioned, that's free throws. That's trying to get second chance points. That's pushing the break, which all seems to be getting shut down by the Celtics. So
Yeah,
let me ask you, if there is something, what can the Mavericks do in Game 3 to try and win this game?
I think it starts on the defensive end for them. Their defense, was one of the best. Once they, after the deadline, they
Yep.
had this new team. They brought in Gafford. They brought in PJ Washington, Derrick Jones Jr. and Lively played a lot more second half of the season too.
Mm,
Once those four guys got acclimated, their defense improved,
right.
and that took a lot of pressure off of Kyrie and Luca to have to play. You know, their defense was better, but Kyrie and Luca could just score,
Mhm.
and I think that's the key. They have to change their game plan defensively. And I've been saying this on Twitter, and I've been saying this, on my personal YouTube page and a lot of, comment sections for different, breakdowns of games and such like that. But why not employ the same game plan that Boston is using on you? Like Tatum has not shot the ball well this series at all, either game. 22 shots, game two, I think he was 6 for 22. And then game one, 6 for 16, 16 points for Tatum. So he hasn't shot the ball well. So, why don't help so much because the Boston is killing them with the pass.
Yeah.
Their spacing is killing them with the pass. Jaylen Brown's getting a lot of assists because they're over helping. And if you, yeah, okay, yes, Jason Tatum is a microwave. She's a streaky shooter. When he gets hot, he can kill you and go for 50. Yes, we've seen that before, but it hasn't happened yet.
Nope.
He's had what, maybe 1 or 2 games over 30 points in these playoffs,
Yeah, I think two.
something like that. It hasn't happened yet. So if it hasn't happened yet, why not force that hand? Okay, you're not shooting well. We're not helping off of you so you can get an open look for Drew Holiday. We're not
Yeah.
helping off you so you can get Al Horford a wide open three because he's been wide open all series long.
Yep.
Al Horford has been wide, and unfortunately for Boston, he hasn't been knocking them down, or it would be both of these games would be really big blowouts.
Yeah.
Unlike last game where Boston only won by 7. Make him shoot. He hasn't been shooting well, so your defensive game plan has to change. And it is a make or miss league, and so game one Boston made 16 threes, Dallas only made 7. That's always going to be a detriment to you. But in game two, nobody shot well from three. Boston was 25% from three, and they still won. That's a game you have to win. If your defensive game plan was better, and if you knock down 1 or 2 more shots, I think it could be 1-1. The series could be 1-1. I think it's going to start with defense for Dallas for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I fully agree. Everybody has to play defense. I'm sorry, Luca. I know you're hurting and probably not 100%. Probably haven't been 100%. You got to play some type of defense because with this Celtics team, whether you're on Drew Holiday, whether you're on Derek White, whether you're on Jaylen Brown, whoever, they all can score. So you got to shuffle your feet. You got to slide. You got to move.
Well, here's the thing. It goes back to what I just said. Tatum hasn't been shooting well,
Yeah.
and if Luca is the person that they want in the screen, sag off,
Yeah.
make him shoot. He hadn't been shooting well. At this point, if and I play basketball all the time. If I know somebody's not shooting well, I'm not guarding you, bro.
Nope.
Like it's just not. If I know you're not a shooter, if I know you're struggling, I'm
Back up.
not guarding you.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Like if there's a game plan in place and we want to do this, but I know this dude ain't shooting well,
Yeah.
I'm letting you shoot because it's I mean, you just got to know who you're going against. You got to know the situation. and it seems like they're focusing on their game plan, and that's it. Like I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's time to let him shoot, and that'll make it easier for you to get rebounds and push the break. If that's what the game plan is going to be, but that has to be communicated and adjusted by Jason Kidd.
Yeah,
But I agree with you. Starts on the defensive end. I'll add two more things to that. Make free throws. I mentioned it already, but Mavs were 16 from 24. It's horrible. Celtics
yeah,
are 19 from 20 from free throw line. It's a free shot. It's the
yeah.
simplest points you can get.
And Luca said that
Yeah,
specifically in the post game. He was like, my turnovers and free throw shooting was the reason why they lost, and he was right. He's absolutely right. Especially
yeah,
in that first quarter. The first quarter, they could have blown it wide open. They Boston they could have been down double digits
yep.
in that first quarter, but missed free throws by everybody, not just Luca. I
Everybody.
feel like Kyrie missed free throws, but I could be mistaken as somebody else. But yeah, the free throws and turnovers were the detriment for game two, but also in game two, I think Luca only scoring 9 points in the second half. Like you got to be better. Like
Yep.
if that was anybody else, they'd be going in on him. I haven't heard it. I haven't heard it. Maybe one time did I mention somebody talk about Luca in the fourth quarter? Oh, he had a triple double. He was injured. He playing through injury, bro. I don't want to hear that. You had not. If that was LeBron, they would be digging his grave right now if he had 9 points in the second half, regardless of the final stat line. You gotta do more. You gotta be better. Like you were cooking in the first half. There's no excuse.
Yeah. He has to score more in the second half, and it has to be consistent through each quarter.
And that was
But
it was a winnable game too. That's the
it
thing.
was, yeah, easy winnable game. I think the only reason why you're not hearing it as much is because the more, I guess, astounding issue is that his teammates aren't stepping up at all. And that's the main thing I've been hearing is the Kyrie Irving absence, the PJ Washington 1 for 8, the Derrick Jones 1 for 5. Like
But
nobody
that's
else.
that's
Oh,
that's the game plan though.
right.
Like they're not doubling, they're not blitzing. It's one-on-one basketball.
Yeah.
Luca, cook, like
Yeah.
get 50. This should have been his 50-point game. Like he had 23 in the first half, or 20, 21 or 23 in the
Yeah.
first half. Um, this should have been his 50 game. And I said on Twitter, I was like, he's trying to go for 50 tonight. Like, and I don't know. He should have done more. I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed in Luca because winnable game in the finals, still home court. You gotta do more. Gotta do
Yeah.
more.
He absolutely does have to do more. And I think he knows that. But I got the vibe from that by his press conference the other
Yeah.
night. He knows he has to do more. And, this is the thing we said about the Timberwolves playing against the Mavericks. They played well up until the fourth.
Yep.
And that last 5 minutes under, 2 minutes under, they let it go. And this game too, we saw a similar thing. And people say the refs cheated, the refs wanted Boston to win, blah blah, whatever. I don't care about that because if you make three more free throws and hit one more shot, you win. You
Yep.
don't
Do you
don't
think do you think that was a foul? The push or
huh?
the hand on the back? I don't think it was a foul. I didn't see a push. I saw a hand on the back. And I just feel like Jalen was trying to get some leverage to see, when he was going to start his jump for the block or whatever. I didn't see a extension or I didn't see PJ Washington like go flying. So I don't think it was a foul.
Right, right. I agree. Um, I I've seen it called maybe, but still, I don't think it's foul. And not only that, I don't think that wins or loses you the game. I think your entire play up until then decides that more than just that call.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Luca has to be better late game. Kyrie Irving has to offer you something. Um,
Hmm.
and I think you should try and get Kyrie going early first. That's the thing. Luca can score whenever he can get his.
Yeah.
I think the game plan should be get Kyrie going early, let Luca take over at the end of the game. And still, Luca's gonna get his regardless. But if you don't have Kyrie, you don't win this series. Simple as
Yeah.
that.
And Kyrie started off pretty good. He was, 5 for 10 in the first half,
Yeah,
10 points. The second half he tailed off. Um, but shots aren't falling, and Kyrie said that in his post game. Shots are rimming out. Back. These are shots that we know Kyrie is an incredible shot maker.
mhm,
Um, he can. The left-handed shot on Jokic this season was still the craziest shot I've seen in a very long time.
yeah,
So we know what he can do, but I feel like this game three is going to be very important, of course, obviously, because no team has come back from 3-0 down to win a series, let alone the NBA Finals. Um, but I think Dallas will play better just because they're desperate. I think they're gonna have a lot of energy and they know what's at stake. But I'm just afraid that we're gonna see a Jason Tatum game, um, just because he hasn't had one yet, and he also knows that. So we'll see what happens. It's gonna be very interesting. Can't wait to watch Game Three for sure.
for sure. Game three is going to be um, make or break for the series. I think.
Yeah,
Uh, if the Celtics win, it's over. The Mavs win, maybe there's a chance. And I think the role players and the bench players play better at home.
yeah,
The
definitely.
stars will typically kind of go either way, but the role players play better at home. So that's what I'm expecting. Um, and I'll say this too. I feel like and I was texting you this during the game. It was about to be halftime, and Tatum had I think 5 points, and Jalen Brown had 8 points, and they were up by three. And I
Hmm.
was just confused. I was like, how is this possible? Because
Yeah,
that's their primary scorers. But I told you I would have to make my NBA Finals MVP prediction after the game.
yes. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
And it's Drew Holiday.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
all playoffs long, um, both sides of the floor. He's been the floor general. He's been the defensive stopper. He's been the one pushing the break, been the one running the plays. I mean, he's he's their quarterback.
yeah,
Is Drew Holiday. Um, so that's my current uh, NBA Finals MVP vote. Y'all let us know who y'all's is down in the comment section below. But I got Drew Holiday, and I think the stat was something like they're 20-1 or something when he has over 15 points, something like that.
yeah.
So when he scores, they're almost unbeatable. So shout out to Drew Holiday. He's been playing incredible.
Yeah, for sure. Just based off the two games, I do think, and just his defensive presence, and that's what they brought him here for. They needed a floor general, they needed a true point guard, they needed a defensive point of attack player in the guard spot, and they of course they had Derek White, but sometimes you want Derek White's offense, and so getting Drew was just an added bonus. But shout out to Brad Stevens,
Yeah,
just putting this team together, and both of these teams have excellent executives, calling the shots,
yeah,
putting the team in good position, and getting players and trades and things like that. So um, he's been getting a lot of love, and that's deservedly so. But let's talk about Game 3 a little bit because we did have an injury, and Porzingis. We know that he came back from injury in Game 1, but he suffered another injury in Game 2, and he went out the game. I think it was the third quarter, and he did not come back. He suffered a torn medial retinaculum, allowing dislocation of the posterior to be a list tendon in his left leg. Jeremiah, you got to help me with these terms.
I got you. Yeah. So his rinaculum, basically his tibial tuberosity. So the thing that connects your lower leg muscle to your knee, kind of the tissue that stabilizes it. That's what he hurt. Other people call it your tibial tuberosity, the posterior section of sorry, your your knee,
No, that's good.
your
I
leg and your
love it. I
knee.
love it.
Yeah, basically, yeah, it's a lower leg injury, and that can happen based off the other injury he had.
Yeah.
Sometimes, sometimes it's hard for trainers and doctors to connect the dots to those two injuries, but that can happen. But yeah, it's a big injury. Again, I don't really think they need him. He definitely makes a huge difference. But
Yeah.
I think the Celtics team is just fine with or without.
We seeing some Luke Cornett minutes in the finals?
I think so. Yeah, more Hauser, more Cornette, um,
I
maybe more
mean,
Tillman.
if Dallas is playing Dante Exum, then Boston can survive some Luke Cornett minutes. I mean, come on now.
Absolutely.
Let's be real. And I mean, there's no shot at Dante Exum. He's played well this season with Dallas, and he's kind of revived his career. But I'd rather play Jaden Hardy over him. But
Yeah.
I'm not the coach for the team.
Right.
But yeah, no, this injury is big. We saw his impact defensively and offensively too. He's just a mismatch. He can get the switch and have those smaller guards on him. He can just pull up right over him without even, you know, a contest in the face. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. He's day to day. Um, I think, you rest him Game 3, and you get 5 days of rest total from Game 2 to Game 4.
Yeah.
So that's what I think that they should do. But hey, shout out to you with the terms and
Oh yeah.
the bodily. But that's what you do though. That's what you do.
I got you. Yeah, no, I've studied that for a while, especially playing soccer. I've gotten used to the lower leg muscles and injuries, so that's a common one. I will say this too about his injury. He is day to day, like you mentioned. He can definitely play on it. Um, Obviously, the main concern would be would it get worse, um,
Right.
and then he'd have to be out for longer. Uh, and the main thing it'll affect is probably his jumping, landing,
Hmm.
lateral movement. Again, things you can play on and play with. Um, but I agree with you. I think it'd be smarter to rest them and to either push for Game 3 as hard as you can, or just stick to your game plan, do what you do. Um, they haven't needed them all playoffs. Maybe you need them now. I don't think so, but I guess we'll
I
see.
mean, Dallas's bigs aren't doing anything, so
No,
I mean, it's
not
not
at
like
all.
you really just want him for the offensive punch. He's coming
Right.
off the bench, but it's not like you need him to be a Rudy Gobert type defender in
Yeah.
the post. because they got a bruiser down low that's getting 25 and 30 points a game. That's not the
No,
case. So,
not at all.
uh, Tillman could come in and spell them. Fournette is a big
Yep.
body. I've seen him get blocks and you know putbacks and dunks and things like that. So, you know, Boston is deep. They have players. Whether they play them, is the question or not. But NBA Finals, you want to shorten your rotation a little bit, but we may see 9 or 10 guys play for Boston in Game 3, which it's not bad.
Yeah, no, it's not bad at all. They have their deep team. They have the rotation to do it. I'll say this really quickly about the Mavericks. This is time. This is a time where your leaders have to step up. I was listening to pregame speech by Jason Kidd, and I think I heard another pregame by Kyrie or I think PJ. But somebody needs to light a fire under them. I mean, this is the NBA Finals. You didn't
Yeah.
come this far to get swept. You're already down 2-0. Do not get swept. So leaders got to step up. They got to lead the team. They got to get some energy, some passion going. And it has to stay close until the fourth quarter. It can't be
Yeah.
another 37-20 first quarter
Yeah.
down by
I
10
agree.
time type game. You have to keep it close to the fourth, and that's when you execute. I think they
Or
have
or take the lead, or
absolutely,
you do the punching, you come
yeah,
out, be the aggressor, you have the 20-point lead, and make Boston come back.
right. With the way Boston's been shooting, I mean, I'm not sure if they can come back if you get a lead.
Exactly.
So yeah, leaders have to step up, um, and they got to execute their game plan in the fourth.
Yeah, yeah. So with that being said, give us your prediction for Game 3. Who wins? You don't necessarily have to give us a score, but who do you think is going to be the winner for Game 3?
It's hard, man. I was so confident and high in the Dallas Mavericks going into this, and that's just sub level zero right now. Um, so it's hard to pick against the Celtics, even with the Mavericks being at home. I'm gonna go Celtics. Um, my entire prediction has changed. I think now Celtics are gonna go up 3-0. Mavs are gonna win one, make it 3-1, and Celtics are gonna win in five.
Gotcha. I'm picking Dallas. I've picked Dallas to win every game so far.
I did too.
Just Boston not playing well at home. I thought Dallas would come out hot game 1. Luca, Kyrie. I picked. I was like, okay, they didn't. That didn't happen. Game 2. Oh, they'll adjust. Boston is, they're bound to give one up. They won't shoot well as a
Yeah,
team. Luca's, he's gonna do more this game. He did do more, but they didn't win. So now I'm picking Dallas. Dallas, they're at home now. Role players play better at home. Dallas is not trying to go down 3-0. Dallas has got to win this game. So yeah, I'm picking Dallas. I'm gonna pick Dallas until they win a game, and if they don't, well, that's unfortunate.
that would be sad.
Very sad. I,
and,
I
and
picked Boston. I picked Boston in 7. I want to see a good series. Dallas,
right,
please.
that's what I was gonna say. I was talking to my friend, who's a neutral. He was like, I just want to see a good series, and right now it's not looking like that. So yeah, we need the Mavs to come with it. I hope they win Game 3. You're at home.
Yeah.
I maybe the stars need to come out. I don't know. Something needs to happen. Um,
Mahomes show up. Micah Parsons, need
yeah,
y'all in the building.
CJ. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what they need, but you're at home. We mentioned, the role players play better, bench players play better. We talked about it beforehand. They have the crowd. we said they had the better atmosphere, energy from
Yeah.
the fans. Maybe that'll make a difference. But based off those first two games, I can't pick against the Celtics. I got to go Celtics this game.
No, I feel you. I feel you. I'm surprised that Dallas is favored to win this game as far as the spread goes, just based on, you know, Boston's dominance. But yeah, let us know down in the comments section what you all think about game three. Who's gonna take it? Give us your score predictions. I did want to also give a comment question for everybody, and this is just a general question for you all. I know some people have asked, give us some questions or whatever that we can answer. So y'all answer this one. Who got you into basketball? Who was the player or the team that got you into basketball and got you really started watching it? I will start, and that was Kobe Bryant for me. Once he came into the league, it really, amped my love for the game and my love for the Lakers in general. So it was Kobe for me.
It's a great question. Um, I guess I technically grew up in the era where Braun was just kind of starting out. Um,
Yeah.
but for me, it was also Kobe. And I guess technically my person would be you, but yeah,
Yeah.
it would be Kobe. So yeah, Lakers. I grew up watching the Lakers. There were other players that I liked at the
Yeah.
time. Um, when I was younger, I liked AI. I played with him on 2K and stuff. He was out of the league shortly after I grew up.
Yeah.
But AI was one. Kobe, of course. A few others. I liked. Man, as I'm not as old as I think I am, but
Yeah. No, you're not. You're not.
um, Carmelo with Denver, and then the Knicks obviously was one of my favorite players growing up
Yeah.
too. So yeah, there's a few of them, but Kobe definitely. Kobe and the Lakers was what did it for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, let us know down in the comment section. That's your comment question of the video. Um, and we love to hear you all's teams and players. And we love the interaction. So let's transition a little bit. I wanted to talk about the Caitlin Clark situation because
Yeah,
we know that she was some would say she was snubbed, from the Team USA for the Olympics on the women's side. What are your thoughts on that whole situation? Because yeah, I think it's a polarizing conversation. It could go both ways, but it's an interesting conversation, and I'd like to hear everybody's thoughts about it.
yeah. I think she deserved to be on the team,
Okay.
and that's based off of two things. Number one, her ability to play basketball. That should be first and foremost. She's a great shooter. She can ball handle. She's great coming off the screen. She can catch and shoot. Um, she's just a great basketball player, and I think that's needed for obviously any international team, whether that's America, Canada, wherever. Any international team, you need
Yeah.
shooters. So that's number one. Number two is marketing. Um, she's attracted ratings. She's attracted revenue for the WNBA, and she would do the same
Mhm.
thing for the Team USA. Um, I've been hearing, or I think I saw a headline. It was that they were skeptical on whether to take her because they were worried about the fan backlash they would have received when she didn't play as much. Um, and I think that's an excuse. That's a cop out.
Yeah.
Um, she she deserved to be on the team. Um, and the other thing, I think the other thing you have to think about is there aren't three, four, five, six other girls on that team that's better than her. Um,
Yeah.
Obviously, a few are great,
Yeah,
uh,
for sure.
but I think she could have at least made the roster.
Yeah, yeah. I I'm I honestly have mixed feelings. It definitely would have been good for her to be included, just because she is very marketable. She's, probably going to win Rookie of the Year. Her play in college was outstanding. The type of player she is. But I'm not like I'm not mad that she didn't make it, but I'm not really like into the WNBA all that much. I watch a lot of the headlines and I see some scores, some box scores or whatever. But I'm not sitting down watching it.
Yeah,
And that's no shot at them. It's just I don't really get into it like that. And this is the first time that that we've talked about the WNBA, and I think her presence made that possible, made the W even more marketable, even greater. But like I said, I'm not mad that she didn't make it. I kind of understand it. But the thing that I don't understand is like if Team USA is so great, what's the difference between 11 players and then 12 and Caitlin being that 12th player? Like that the Team USA women's have won, if I'm not mistaken, seven in a row, seven gold medals in a row. This is not like the NBA where the rest of the country, the rest of the world is kind of catching up to Team USA. The women's side is not that. There's really no competition.
no, zero.
So you're gonna see a lot of garbage time minutes. You're gonna see a lot of blowouts, and that can be Caitlin's time. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If she comes in garbage time, does her thing, the crowd goes crazy, you know, and I just think they missed an opportunity a little bit, to not to use her for good publicity, but it's like they don't care about the backlash that they're getting. They're getting a lot of backlash already in the WNBA regarding the whole Caitlin Clark situation. This could have been a time to rectify that. This could have been a time to, show that, we have camaraderie in the W and we support all of our players. Yes, she's a rookie. Yes, she's had struggles, beginning of the season, but we support everybody here, and I think they missed that opportunity even more than the marketability and just putting Caitlin's name out there. She's already famous. She didn't need to be in Team USA to become famous.
Right.
I mean, so that's not part of it. I just think the public opinion for the WNBA, I think that's where they missed the mark. And one more thing, um, you know, if they really wanted to, you know, make a villain out of her, then they made the wrong decision. Because if great players, they take the smallest thing and it excels them, it excels their play. She's already a lethal scorer, you know, and she's about to get a month of rest. She's about to, be thinking about this the whole time, watching them play. When they come back, I fear it's going to be trouble for everybody else outside of Indiana because this past I think she had one game where she struggled a little bit, but she did have a 30-point game where she hit seven threes and they won, and that's the least that she can do, you know. Um, but yeah, I just fear that she's gonna come out with a vengeance once the WNBA starts back up, and it's not gonna be pretty for everybody else.
Yeah, You made so many great points. Um, while you were talking, I thought of a comparison between Wimby for the Spurs and Caitlin Clark. And I think you hit it nail on the head when you said that this was their chance to build the camaraderie to basically get Caitlin's name out there. And they haven't welcomed her. Um,
No.
and comparing it to Wimby, everybody welcomed him with open arms,
Yeah.
and he was blocking all their shots and
Yeah. Dunking
uh,
on him.
dunking on them. So that's the unfortunate difference I think between the two. And, I don't like every comparison, but some are useful. Um, and I think that's the way the WNBA has failed um, so far, just with this particular season. Another thing is this. This is, I think, something when considering the roster for Team USA that they didn't really consider. Is that you're going to need her. Like, yeah, it's been seven straight, and you're not taking a risk by having her or not having her either way. But
Yeah.
still, you're going to need her for the future. Um, it just reminds me of when uh, men's Team USA had Kyrie Irving, who was fresh off the Duke bus,
Mhm.
off on Team USA. That experience was huge for him. That
Yeah.
developed him into the player he is now. So I think it's a missed opportunity in many ways. But I agree with you. The entire world's rooting for Caitlin, um, maybe outside of the WNBA world, but
Yeah.
uh, we are rooting for her, and I agree with you. I think her competitive nature is going to come out um, in the next month and a half or so. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully, there's no more cheap shots
Yeah.
and you know targeting. We'll see. That probably will be, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And last thing I wanted to mention regarding the Caitlin Clark situation, you mentioned the media backlash, and that was their reason why they didn't want to bring her on. What makes you think that you're not going to have media backlash now?
Right.
I mean, she's she's top five famous players in the WNBA, and she's a rookie. You created another piece of media backlash by not bringing her on.
Yeah.
And I understand, it's Paris, people are, overseas may not be thinking of her in that way like we are here in America, but still they cover basketball, they cover the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is famous, and you didn't bring her on. So while yes, there will be media coverage, there would have been media coverage. She probably would have taken a lot of the spotlight, but now it's still there. Like that I don't think they really thought it through by not bringing her on, because now it's negative energy, it's negative feedback, is negative press. And if anything, you don't want that. You don't want negative press. Yeah, Team USA could blow out everybody and win by 35 and win the gold medal. But still, like I said, you missed the opportunity for positive reinforcement, positive feedback, and positive, media presence. And I just think they lost the ball on that one, dropped it.
They did. They absolutely did. Um, it's tough. You mentioned that she is a rookie and she's top five. She's top five and she's not five. I mean, she might be three. I don't know. Maybe not, but still,
Yeah.
um, she deserves to be on that team. And you know, we'll see what happens with the team.
Yeah.
It's still a good squad they put together. Uh,
Yeah, no, for sure. They got, a lot of the aces players. They got Sabrina Ionescu.
Yeah,
So I mean, they got good players. But I just and here's a thing that because you said it, I don't know if were meaning to say it, but what if she declines all other invitations for Team USA in the future? That like she could do that,
possible.
and then what? Like, I,
Yeah,
yeah, it's just a missed opportunity. But let us know down in the comment section what you all think about this whole Caitlin Clark situation and Team USA. Of course, we're Team USA around here, but that just leaves a little sour taste in your mouth. But we're definitely excited for the Olympics. We're going to be bringing you that coverage, and you know, once that hits next month, we got a lot of soccer coming up. The NBA Finals is winding down, so we got the Copa America, we got the Euros. We're going to be bringing you that coverage as well. Follow us on Twitter at TSPJDN. We are um, we've hit 50 subscribers. We're on our road to 100. So we're steadily moving, and we've got ideas for guests and interviews and things like that. So hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, so you see all of our content that we're posting, weekly, pretty much. Um, so yeah, like the video. We appreciate y'all. Jeremiah, final words.
I'm expecting big things from the Mavericks game 3. Um, I hope they show out. I hope they come with energy, with passion. I want to see a good series, so I hope the Mavericks come with it. Um, I'm also excited, like you mentioned, for the Euros and Copa America. More so for the Euros because Team USA is not looking great right now for men's soccer. But
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Y'all stay tuned. But yeah, a lot of good football coming on this summer.
absolutely. Y'all stay locked in with us. We love y'all. Appreciate y'all for everything, likes, comments, and everything. So stay tapped in with us. We love the interaction. So follow us on Twitter for all of that too. But yeah, that's been this episode of the Talking Sports Podcast. Until next time, peace.
Peace, y'all.